Let's talk income and taxes. Maybe not the most exciting thing in a speaker's life, but something you need to think about. Hi, my name is Lee Hayes. I am the founder of Path to the Main Stage, where I get more speakers on stages. And taxes may or may not be exciting to you. Maybe you're a CPA. I am not, so I'll start that with a disclaimer. These are not legal suggestions. These are practical suggestions. But you need to think about how to deal with money when it starts coming in. And if it's coming in already, you need to think about your taxes. Because we're coming into tax season, so you got to think about this. The first thing is are you an individual or are you a business? And if you are an individual, you might want to think about becoming a business. It's pretty easy to LLC yourself. You can be James Speaker or as an individual, and then James Speaker LLC can be your business. That's fine. But the reason I mention that is because every time you send an invoice for funds, and yes, you need to send invoices so that you're tracking the money you're getting in. When you send an invoice, you need to send a W-9 with it. Whether you are an individual or whether you are a business, the business that's hiring you is going to want a W-9 because they need to keep records. And on a W-9, you need to either put your EIN, your employee identification number, or TIN, tax identification number, or your social security number. So the question is, do you really want to be sending your social security number out to these companies on forms so your social security number is flying around? You might want to consider making yourself a business so that you've got a tax number and you don't have to give out your social security number. But that's just a suggestion, something you need to think about, because those W-9s have to go out. Because then the companies in turn need to send you a 1099. You are an independent contractor. You're not an employee. So at tax time, you're going to get these forms in. Now then, accepting money. That's the other thing you need to think about. You need to somehow track the money you're making. I recommend that it all goes into the same bank account so that you know that everything you got as a speaker went into that account, versus a general account or joint account or something like that. Have a bank account just for speaking. And think about how you accept money. It's easy for banks nowadays to take electronic transfers, and a lot of companies will do that. Accept checks. I talk to some speakers who say, I don't accept checks because they're a pain. Here's the thing. You need to not be a pain for the client. They are the client. They are paying you. You need to accept the way they pay you. Don't be difficult, especially when you start dealing with larger companies, corporations. You're not dealing with individuals. I know I've had speakers say, could they just Venmo me the money, or could they just use whatever, Zelle or different methods because it's convenient for the speaker? Well, if it's not convenient for Microsoft or Google or Macy's or some company that's hired you and they can't pay you, if you say in your contract accepts Venmo only, they're going to go, well, we don't do Venmo. Next speaker, you're not that important. You need to be accepting of the way they do things. They are the client. So accept checks if you possibly can. Accept electronic transfers. It's not a problem for most banks. Accept credit cards. I know they charge a fee. A lot of credit cards are going to be somewhere between 1.5% and 3%. Suck it up. That is the cost of doing business. Do not pass that fee on to the client because that's an annoyance fee. Sure, they can afford it, but now you've annoyed them and you want to be hired back. Just accept the credit cards. You can accept them through PayPal. It's very easy. And send a link and say, here you go. So be accepting. Think about whether you want to be a business or not. And it's easy to do. You can incorporate yourself, make yourself an LLC. You don't need to hire an attorney. It doesn't cost nothing, but it's not difficult. And think about the forms that you need to send out. If you're sending out a W-9, do you want your social security number on there? Do you want your tax number on there? Either way, you need to have it. It's part of the world of taxes, and it's tax time. If that was helpful, make sure you sign up for my email so you get a tip every week, or check down below so you're following, or look at my website, Path to the Main Stage, and I'll see you on more stages.